Philadelphia news, team of my heart. Are you ready for the latest Sixers news? The Philadelphia 76ers just made a key roster move that could shape their G League success this season. A seasoned player, a proven leader, and a big reason the Delaware Blue Coats brought home a title, is back. His impact goes beyond stats, he's the foundation of their success. Want to know why this signing matters for the Sixers' future? Stay tuned, and make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to never miss important Sixers news like this. You've been keeping up with Sixers news, right? Well, there's a move you probably saw coming, but it's one of those changes that still makes you stop and think about the bigger picture. In the world of the Philadelphia 76ers, every detail matters, even the ones that seem small, like a signing that flies under the radar. And this one? It's no exception. The Sixers have made a decision, a calculated one. A player who's no stranger to the organization, someone who's been through the grind, fought his battles, and made his mark in the developmental squad, is back in the fold. You might not know the name off the top of your head, but if you follow the G League, you'll remember the guy who helped the Delaware Blue Coats bring home their first title not long ago. Yeah, that guy. He's not just a role player, he's a staple in their success. But here's where things get interesting. He's not coming back to shake up the main roster. No, his journey is one of those that remind you of the endless grind, the relentless pursuit of a dream that doesn't always end with your name in bright lights. Yet, this decision by the Sixers isn't just about nostalgia or loyalty. It's about building something bigger, and if you follow the Sixers closely, you know it's always been about creating a pipeline of talent, players who fit the system, who can develop, grow, and be ready when their number is called. This player has been with the Sixers developmental program since 2018. You probably missed his first few seasons, but now? Now, he's built himself a reputation, a consistent performer, a leader on the floor, a guy who delivers when it counts. Over 200 games of G League experience isn't something you just gloss over. He's put up solid numbers, sure, but it's not about stats with him. It's about impact. And if you've watched the Blue Coats during their championship run, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This guy was there when they made their first trip to the G League Finals, and he was a key piece in that magical season when Delaware finally lifted the trophy. You've got to respect that grind, that perseverance. Not every player sticks around like that, keeps their head down, and puts in the work year after year. So, here we are. Another offseason move that might seem insignificant in the grand scheme of Sixers news, but when you step back, it's part of something larger. The Sixers are setting up the Blue Coats for another strong season. And this guy? He's not done yet. He's back to be a leader, to keep pushing, to help guide the next generation of Sixers talent. Ready for what's next? Stay tuned. You've seen players come and go, but this one sticks around. The Sixers keep bringing him back, and it's not by chance. There's a certain level of trust here, something you don't often see with a player who's never broken through to the main stage. The organization sees the value in someone who has been in the system for years, who knows the ins and outs of how things work, and can be that steady presence in the G League. This guy doesn't just play the game, he understands it. He's a mentor, even if he's not the one grabbing all the headlines. The Blue Coats have relied on his experience, his composure, and his ability to deliver when it matters most. Think back to those clutch moments, the times when games were on the line. He was there, hitting big shots, making the right decisions, being the glue that held the team together when the pressure was at its peak. You've seen it, or at least heard about it in Sixers news. What's remarkable is that he's not chasing glory anymore, he's chasing impact. He knows what his role is, and he's embraced it fully. It's rare to see a player with that kind of self-awareness, that kind of humility. He could have easily walked away, sought opportunities elsewhere, but he chose to stay. That says a lot about his character, about his commitment to this organization. He's part of the fabric that makes the Blue Coats what they are, winners. You can't talk about the Blue Coats' success without acknowledging the role he's played. Sure, there have been more talented players, guys who've had more hype surrounding them, but not many have had the same level of impact. Over 200 games, just think about that for a second. That's years of grinding, of showing up day after day, putting in the work, making sure that he's ready when called upon. He's averaged 12 points and 2 assists per game, shooting 42% from the field and 39% from beyond the arc. Solid numbers, right? But it's not just the stats. It's his presence on the court, the way he elevates those around him, the way he leads without needing to shout it from the rooftops. And you know what? He's not done. Not by a long shot. The Sixers see something in him, and you should, too. It's easy to get caught up in the star power, the flashy moves, but there's something to be said for consistency, for reliability. That's what this guy brings. He's the kind of player you want on your side when the stakes are high, when the game's on the line, and you need someone who's been through it all. It's clear the Sixers have bigger plans for the Blue Coats this season, and he's going to be right in the thick of it. You've been following along, right? You've heard me talk about the consistency, the leadership, the experience this player brings. But here's the thing, did you know who I was talking about? Maybe his name didn't come to mind right away, but you've seen his impact. You've witnessed how vital he's been to the Blue Coats and, indirectly, to the Sixers' future. You're probably thinking of all the young talents you've seen go through the G League system, those who've made noise, grabbed attention, maybe even gotten called up. But this guy? He's been the backbone, the quiet force that's been there through thick and thin. Doesn't that make you wonder about the players who don't get all the spotlight? The ones who do the work, day in and day out, and still don't get the recognition they deserve? That's what makes this whole situation interesting. You get caught up in the big names, the guys who score 30 a night, but there's this whole other side of the game that doesn't always make the headlines. And it's guys like this who make it possible for the stars to shine. When you think about it, the Sixers are playing the long game here. They know how valuable it is to have someone in the system who can mentor, lead, and perform. And not just anyone, someone who's earned their stripes. Do you remember that 2021 championship run in Delaware? The one that finally brought a title home to the Blue Coats? This guy was right there in the middle of it. And now he's back to do it again. After everything he's been through, he's still hungry. He's still putting in the hours, preparing for yet another season where he can be the difference maker. And here's the reveal you've been waiting for. The player I've been talking about? It's Jared Brownridge. The seasoned veteran who's been with the Sixers developmental program for years now. The guy who's helped carry the Blue Coats to new heights, who has over 200 G League games under his belt, and who just signed another Exhibit 10 contract to stay with the organization. So, now that you know it's Brownridge, how do you feel about the Sixers' decision? Does it give you a sense of security knowing they're keeping such a reliable player in their system? Or are you still holding out for bigger names? If you're as invested in the Sixers' future as I am, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss the next move, because every little decision adds up. Sixers news is always coming, and you'll want to stay updated on every single one.